So if you know me by now, one of my favorite sayings is sometimes you're the bug and sometimes you're the windshield, right? So the moral of this video right out of the gate is don't be this guy. And I'm getting ready to show you why. I'm over here with Dennis and got John Wilburn here, and here you go. Guys, I haven't slept since 7 o'clock yesterday morning, so that's when I got up. I worked on this thing all night, getting the intake fitted onto this thing, permanent or semi-permanent, at least for today anyways. If you remember when we unloaded this engine, I spent all night getting that intake manifold to fit mixed up balls. And 3 a.m. in the morning, your brain is not working properly, okay? Let's just get that out there. So with this intake and this right here, you can see where the gasket's at, and you can see how the manifold rises up. Well, look right here. You can see where a little bit of RTV has squished out. In order to get this thing to seal up with the gasket that I use, I had to use RTV around the tops and some on the side to make sure that we didn't have a vacuum leak. Well, that's when things started to go wrong, okay? Because when Dennis and I were in here changing out the carb spacers, we noticed, or he noticed rather, he took a flashlight and looked down the runner and seen about that much of RTV protruding into the intake manifold. And to be honest, guys, I totally dismissed it. I said, well, that could probably be 3 to 5 horsepower, right? Because I've been down that road before, and yeah, well, I should have learned. But Dennis, being the bulldog that he actually is, he wouldn't let it go. He said that we're throwing away some big power there. And so if you want to know why I set up a GoFundMe page for these guys, you're getting ready to see it, because I'm going to insert the video that he took right now.
Hey everybody, this is Dennis with Race Engine Challenge Dyno Services, and I've been working with Andy on his Mixed Up Boss 429 engine for the last few weeks, trying to get the most horsepower out of everything and optimize the engine. And what I'm doing today Andy is not here, but what I'm doing today is I'm actually going to take the carbs and the upper portion of the plenum of the intake manifold off, because Andy and I noticed that the transition between the intake runners and the port runners have a little bit of RTV protruding into the port, into the way of the air, so to speak. And we have decided, or I have suggested, but he was basically on board with that, we have decided that I'm going to go ahead and try to remove that and do another run, see if we can maybe find a few more horsepower. So this is the upper portion of the intake removed. I'm going to show you what I mean. If you look deep in there, I don't know if you can see that, but every runner has a little bit of like gasket material and RTV that Andy used to put all this together. Granted, he did this on kind of like a last minute type of deal. So basically it was he just wanted to make sure that everything is sealed up properly and all that. However, it appears so that there's going to be a lot of turbulence created by those pieces sticking out. And so today I'm going to go ahead and stuff a paper towel deep in there to make sure there's no pieces going towards the valve, and then try to get in there somehow with some kind of blade and try to get these RTV pieces cut out, and hopefully that will find us a little bit more power and we can get the engine over 700 horsepower. We'll see. Stay tuned. So what I'm actually gonna do in order to get in there and try to cut some of this stuff, I'm actually gonna use my own personal knife sharpener from my kitchen, which has a 1, 2, 3 sharpening function. And this is a kitchen knife I've been laying around here for, I don't know, probably just like, you know, cutting some gaskets or something. But we want this razor sharp. So in order to do that, I'm gonna run it through the grinder, to the sharpener, and yeah, hope that it'll make it sharp enough where we can get in those ports and yeah, get some of that gasket material removed. All right, knife is sharpened. First test, good enough. We can see a before and after. Definitely cleaned it up a little bit, and hopefully will give the air a little bit of a straighter shot. Just finish up cleaning those ports and try to give them maximum airflow and no restrictions, and putting everything back together right now, making sure that the holes line up nicely, that you can put the bolts in already by hand and they spin somewhat easily with little restriction, which they do. And I'm gonna go do another dyno run, and then I'm gonna call Andy and tell him the result and see how he's gonna react. The engine is warming up, and we're getting there almost. We're about 150, 160 for the coolant, and the oil is currently at 115. It's pretty much like driving a car on the highway, 2800, 2700. We're running about 80% load on the dyno, and the engine is currently producing 78, 77 foot-pounds of torque. The correction factor has adjusted a little bit. We started off in the 1.3 something, 103 something, and the fan has been running for a couple of minutes now, 2-3 minutes, and the humidity, pressure, and air temperature have stabilized and pretty much hit those marks that we have on our weather station over here. So that is a good sign for us to make sure that the measurement or the pull is valid and the number is realistic. Currently we're at 2.8% correction factor, so fairly similar to what we had yesterday. But without further ado, we're reaching an oil temperature here that where we can do our first pull and see what happens. And what we're going to do today, we're actually going to do 2 or 3 back-to-back pulls. Currently we still have the 2-inch spacer formation on there. That did not make additional power yesterday, so there's a chance that we're going to make more power with only 1 spacer with 1 inch on there, but we shall see. So oil temp 130, coolant 160, 53 in and out, so I guess it's time for us to make our first pull. Alright, here we go. Okay, that sounded like a good pull. Well, here is the result. Not sure if you can see this. We're looking at 698.2 on our first pull. So, now that the engine, we're getting super close. Now that the engine oil is a little warmer and a little thinner, and it's come to proper temperature, let's do another pull. All right. OMG. 706 horsepower, 597 foot-pounds of torque. Correction factor of 3%. AFR values are right on the money. A little bit lean on cylinder 7 and 8, but not too bad. Let's do one more time, one pull. See what we got? 707.1, 597.4. Okay, while we're at it, let's see how much better it'll get. One more time. All right, I think this is as good as it gets. 708, 595.9. All right, gotta call Andy here about this. He's not gonna believe it. Hopefully he's gonna pick up. Come on, Andy.
Your call has been forwarded.
Oh my God, really?
Message system. Andy Wood is not available.
Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. Take this picture, send it to Andy, and have him call me because he's going to go freaking crazy. All right, guys, that was it. Now you can see what having no obstruction in the port, no edges, nothing protrude, have a smooth transition between the runner and the port is gonna do for your engine. So work clean, make sure everything is harmonious and even and straight, and you'll get the best results.
So what'd you think about that? I was completely blown away. Now, when he called me, in my defense, I was getting in the shower. It was Easter. But like I said, his dedication to getting 700 horsepower, he came and worked on this thing on Easter Sunday. And then tried to call me, and like I said, I'm getting in the shower. I called him right back after I got out, and lo and behold, we hit the 700 horsepower mark. Not by 1 or 2, but by 8. That's pretty impressive, isn't it?
It is, and almost 600 foot-pounds of torque.
Yeah, I mean, it's right there. So all of you guys, the moral of the story is don't be this guy, but also it's the small things that can make the big difference in power. And this proved it, because I would have lost a ton of money. So until next time, this is Andy from Unity Motorsports Garage. I'll catch you later.
I'll catch you later.